Hi, I'm Sarah Montino, the head of the Cunningham Architecture Library for the School of Architecture at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Today I'm going to talk to you about my poster celebrating women in architecture, inspiring the next generation with a reflective library collection. What this is a distinct library collection of nearly $12,000 worth of resources that are for, by, and about architects identifying as women. This is a comprehensive collection that encompasses both physical and electronic resources, helping us ensure that all of our learners can have access to this collection. It's also interdisciplinary. We have titles that cover not only just traditional architecture, but also landscape architecture, graphic design, art history, and being an architect, the business of being an architect, especially as a architect identifying as a woman. The collection was the idea of our acquisitions manager, Gayla Lackey. She got the idea to apply for a grant for our Women for OSU program, and it is usually a resource that supports initiatives by women within the university. We were not selected for the grant. However, we had excellent rationale for the program itself, for the collection itself. So at OSU, every year we have a campus climate survey, and these are some of the numbers that came from that campus climate. And these numbers, I believe, are from 2021, which is right before we started building the collection. So 45% of the student population at OSU School of Architecture identify as female. However, those who are in this arena know that only 22% of licensed architects within the US identify as women. That's a huge drop. 33% of the women in our OSU College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology, SEAT, report experiencing gender discrimination. And we wanted to help create a space that is welcoming and representative of all of the students in our community here at the Oklahoma State School of Architecture. As I stated, we did not receive the grant. However, the OSU Dean of Libraries, Sheila Johnson, obviously approved our grant. So she had read our report, she understood our rationale, and so she found $12,000 in our Rosalind Swinka Library Endowment, and we were able to use that money to purchase 118 titles, and this included books, ebooks, video streaming with perpetual access, best kind. And we use a variety of book lists and recommendations from our faculty. And the first improvement that we are able to see in action was our Introduction to Architecture class each year has an annual research project that they do a biography on an architect of some renown. Prior to this, there were 18 architects that they could choose from, and only 2 of them were female. So we were able to include 3 more female architects to this list, which sounds small, but in the grand scheme of things was a great addition. The other thing we were able to do was I partnered with the student group, the Almighty She, which is a women-focused design group or design club. And we hosted a showcase of this new collection, and it included obviously having the titles out on display, but we also had some interactive activities for people to partake in. And I also went through our archives and pulled out previous work from students who are graduating and were now practicing female architects, and I put their work on display, and a few of them also attended. Included in our application were a few statements, supporting statements from faculty and students. And I really thought it was important to highlight one of the student statements in my poster because I believe that we fulfilled her need in our collection. And so the student, who at the time was a 5th-year student, she said, the OSU School of Architecture has developed a welcoming and supportive community that strives to further its gender and cultural inclusion. Previous research projects have solely focused on male architects, and these individuals have had a monopoly on the material represented in the library. Expanding the representation of women in architecture through the school's library collection is a vital aspect in inspiring and developing the education of all students. And I believe that we were able to achieve that with our collection. Some of the conclusions, which included a dramatic increase in both our patron visits and our reference interviews. And I have the numbers there, how much of an increase we saw since this collection has been unveiled. And unfortunately, I don't have stats on the gender of the the identifying gender of the patrons, but those are our numbers. Clearly, a lot of people are feeling more comfortable in this space. So moving forward, we will continue to evaluate the collection and update it. And I will be focusing on advertising the collection. One of the ideas that I have is that we have a speaker series at the School of Architecture. And so when we have a woman architect come in, I'm going to make sure we have their book, but I'm also going to be there at the presentation in order to advertise our collection. And finally, here are my references and my acknowledgement.